What does it mean to say that one number is a factor or a multiple of another? Remember, we've seen this word factor before. In a multiplication problem, for example, 2 times 3 equals 6, the two numbers that we're multiplying are called factors. When we say that, for example, 2 is a factor of 6, we mean there's a multiplication sentence that looks like this, where 2 is one of the factors and the product is 6. In general, we say one number is a factor of another if there's a multiplication sentence in which the first number is one of the factors and the second is the product. Notice that every multiplication sentence actually shows us two factors. So, since we know, for example, 3 times 6 equals 18, we know that 3 is a factor of 18, and also 6 is a factor of 18. How do we determine if one number is a factor of another? Well, we want to find a multiplication sentence in which that number is one of the factors. How do we find multiplication sentences? We use division. So if I asked you, is 7 a factor of 42? You might say, well, 42 divided by 7 is 6, with no remainder, which means that 6 times 7 equals 42, which in turn tells us that, yes, in fact, 7 is a factor of 42. For this reason, we have another word for being a factor. Instead of 7 is a factor of 42, we might say 7 divides 42. 7 goes into 42. Sometimes we also like to express the relationship from the point of view of 42 rather than from the point of view of 7. We could also express this relationship as 42 is a multiple of 7. Notice this relationship. 42 is a multiple of 7. 7 is a factor of 42. They're reverse of one another. Or we could also say 42 is divisible by 7. So we can divide 42 by 7. All right, so 5 new phrases. 7 is a factor of 42. 7 divides 42. 7 goes into 42. 42 is a multiple of 7. 42 is divisible by 7. All 5 of these express the same relationship between 7 and 42. But notice clearly where each number goes in the description of the relationship. And again, how do we check whether this relationship holds? We do division, or equivalently, we try to locate a multiplication sentence. So I'm going to give you something to try here. Use division to check that 6 is in fact a factor of 78. Then describe this relationship between 6 and 78 using 5 different sentences. Pause the video and try this now. Alright, so first we want to do division. 6 into 78. So 6 goes into 7 one time. 1 times 6 is 6. Subtracting, we get 1. Bring down the 8. 6 goes into 18. 3 times. 3 times 6 is 18. So there's nothing left over. Since the remainder is 0, that tells us that 6 is in fact a factor of 78. And that's one way we can describe the relationship. We could also say 6 divides 78, or less formally, 6 goes into 78. And then there are 2 ways we could describe this relationship from 78's point of view. 78 is a multiple of 6, or 78 is divisible by 6. All 5 of these sentences mean the same thing. They describe the same relationship between 6 and 78.